Hi, I'm Lynnaire Johnston, and this is the Online Prosperity Show. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 ideas that you need to be able to be successful on LinkedIn. The first is going to be 3 critical features your profile needs. I'm going to be talking about how LinkedIn has evolved, and you'll have to watch the episode to find out the third one.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Online Prosperity Show, where we unravel the secrets of success with top-notch experts. I'm your host, Prosper Taurowinga, and today we are in for a real treat. Get ready to deep dive into the world of LinkedIn mastery with none other than Lynnaire, Kiwi dynamo known far and wide as one of the world's premier LinkedIn gurus. Now, Lynnaire, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well, and I'm just thrilled to be here chatting with you, Prosper. Thank you so much for having me.
Fantastic. Well, your reputation precedes you, and I've been dying to have you on the show. So, yeah, for those that are watching today, this episode is a must watch. The reason why I'm saying this is we're about to embark on an adventure through the labyrinth of LinkedIn with Lynnaire. So many people don't quite know how this platform works, and we're here to spill the beans and also just really discover what linkability is and what it's not, because so many of us are still treating our LinkedIn profiles as a resume when that ship sailed a very long time ago. But I digress. This is not my space. I will let the maestro herself walk us through what it entails to actually be linkability. And trust me, you won't want to miss a single second of this. So be sure to subscribe to this channel just in case you are not going to miss out when we've got an expert in our realm. Now, Lynnaire, it's fantastic to have you with us. I've heard so much about you, seeing your work, and presence on LinkedIn, so much that I'm even starstruck having you on the show today. Could you maybe tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and what actually led you to become the LinkedIn sensation that you are today?
Well, it was a complete accident, Prosper. One morning, literally, I woke up at the end of 2019, and an organisation in Australia, the Social Media Marketing Institute, had nominated me as one of the top 20 LinkedIn experts in Asia Pacific and #1 in New Zealand. Well, this came as a bit of a surprise to me because I write about LinkedIn. I'm a professional writer. I've had a career in writing, and all of a sudden, somebody else decides that here I am, an expert in something that I just thought I was merely adequate in. I love LinkedIn. I'm obsessed by LinkedIn because it has so many opportunities for people who want to achieve their professional goals. I believe it is the place for any business professional to be online. And so on the back of being New Zealand's #1 LinkedIn expert, which, as I say, came as a surprise, I wrote a book. Then I co-authored another book, and that's now in its 2nd edition. And I've set up my own linkability site where I help others to achieve their professional goals using the power of LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn is amazing for just about anybody. I'm lucky, I'm a writer, and so it works really well for me. But if people do video, if they are graphic designers, if they are freelancers, coaches, there is always a way that you can use LinkedIn to propel your business forward and to be successful. So I am just a fan, and out a fan, and yeah, just mildly obsessed, Prosper.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for taking us through that journey, because LinkedIn is one of those platforms that seemingly is the most helpful, but yet underutilized. Why do you think this is so, Lynnaire?
I think it's because it doesn't have the glamour of some of the other platforms, in the way that TikTok has videos and Instagram has images and reels. LinkedIn doesn't work that way. Most people who use those platforms do so because they're recreating. They want to find out where to go for dinner. They want to see people's travel photos. But LinkedIn is all about business. And so I don't think it gets the same credit, if you like, in the social media realm. But here's my thing. I don't see it as social media. I see it as a business tool. And, I run my business pretty much exclusively from LinkedIn. That's where my leads come from. That's where my visibility is. That's where I have been putting all my content pretty much. And that is how I have built my business, simply on LinkedIn, because I was a copywriter before this. And when I realized that you can put up content on LinkedIn and it go really well and get good views, I suddenly went, this is ridiculous. Why have I not known about this before? I'm really amazed that nobody else is doing this. So I'm going to get right into this. And that's how it started for me. I started helping a few people. They started telling people. So I started helping a few more people. And all of a sudden, I'm spending all my time on LinkedIn and no longer doing any copywriting work. And that suits me just fine. I love it.
Fantastic. And I can tell the excitement in your voice when you're talking about it and things of that nature. You see, I like how you have made this platform your home base, because everybody else has a scattergun approach, which then dilutes their attention and their effectiveness and things of that nature. What actually then got you thinking, you know what? You ditch all the other platforms. I'm going to really double down on LinkedIn. Whereas other people look at it and they're like, maybe tomorrow I will come back, maybe when things are a whole lot different now.
I think mainly because it is for business. And I'm really keen on helping people to achieve their goals. I've already said that. And it makes sense to me to do that on a business platform rather than try to use a recreational platform or a leisure platform for something like business. Now, YouTube is the obvious exception to that because that's very much a how-to channel. We all go to YouTube to find out how to do something. But LinkedIn is more than that. It's where you establish your professional brand. It's where you tell people your story. And I just, we side note here, saw your post this morning about your personal journey or professional journey. And it really it really just made I just made my heart go, wow, that is an astonishing story about how you immigrated to Australia and the difficulties you had at the beginning. So what that did was that showed me not only how professional you are because you put it on LinkedIn, but also it shared some of your personality. It shared some of your own personal story. And I think that's probably where people don't quite see the link for LinkedIn. They see it as only about professional. They see it only about work. They don't see it as about people sharing their own personal stories. One of the things I love to do is share stories about my gardening, because the other thing I'm obsessed about is gardening. And so I often will do a video with me in my garden or with my plants. And people seem to really resonate with that because they can see me outside of my blue jacket and just in my gardening clothes and really enjoy the link that I make between my gardening and LinkedIn. So I think that there is a role for people on LinkedIn to be able to advisedly and carefully link their personal lives and their professional lives, because we all do business with people we know, like, and trust. And so therefore, if you can establish a rapport or something in common with someone on LinkedIn, then that means you're going to have more business opportunities. I think people think it's only for talking about their business, and I don't think that's true at all anymore.
I absolutely love that, because there's 7 facets in everybody's life. We've got our health, our wealth, our the work that we do, our hobbies, our relationships, and everything else that completes you as a human. And at the end of the day, if you want people to actually get to know, like, and trust you, they have to connect with you either at a whole different level. Maybe you connect with the green thumb that you're showing, which then opens up, hey, what else do you do? Which, breeds that connection. Because if we just show up with the kind of work that we are doing, sometimes it's boring to other people, or not interesting, or they're not there at that journey, which then creates this whole friction that people have with LinkedIn. Now, in the years that you have been on the platform, ever since winning that accolade that you have won, has there been, any sort of changes to the platform, or has it just sort of constantly remained the same? Because some people would have come in at a time when they were still employed and they never looked back at it because they had no use for it. But looking at today, it's a whole different platform for those that are creative and are looking to connect with, those they can serve.
I agree. I think originally people saw it as somewhere online to put their CVs, and that's what they did. Then they walked away, forgot about it, and often couldn't even get back into their account again when they went back years later. Now, though, LinkedIn has changed out of all recognition, and it is a platform where people do business together. Yes, they still do a lot on the recruitment side, but in actual fact, for people who are small business owners, there are huge opportunities here through company pages, through content, through direct messaging, you name it. Events, live events are one of my favorites, I must say. And so, yes, it's absolutely changed hugely. Now, last year, there were more than 200 changes to LinkedIn. 200. Now, a lot of those were new features, but some of those were new iterations of older features. Some of them were things that were retired. But the fact that the platform is changing so dramatically, so quickly, is great. I just love it. But it is very difficult for people because it's become a beast. If you came back to your LinkedIn profile several years after you first put up an account, then you would just be horrified. You'd go, I have no idea what to do. I have no idea what needs to be done, and I am completely lost. And those are the kind of people that I feel very sorry for, because it is really difficult when you're starting right from the beginning again. Because I think if your profile is something, Prosper, I think needs to develop over time. None of us stand still. We all have different jobs, different roles. We often have more than one role at once. And so our profiles need to tell that story. They need to keep up with what we're doing, our aspirations, our milestones, our achievements, all those kind of things, but also to take advantage of the many new things that LinkedIn offers. Because, for example, when I first started on LinkedIn, there were no such things as videos. There were no such things as short posts. You had to put up an article, which is long form, 500 words or so, or nothing at all. And that's the kind of change that I think has really leveled the playing field for most of us on LinkedIn, so that we can now all, whatever we like doing on LinkedIn, there is something that we can do to promote ourselves and promote our brand. We can share thought leadership ideas. We can help people who are, as you said to me earlier, coming up the ladder, who wanting to know more about the industry that you're in. There are lots and lots of ways I think that people can be using LinkedIn. And that's one of the reasons I love it so much, is because there are those different kinds of opportunities. So look at us today, for example. This is the first time we've met online. We don't know each other in person. We've seen each other on LinkedIn, and we both have big networks of people that we're connected to and who follow us. Now, imagine if we were able to combine those networks, which you can on LinkedIn, in the sense that what you see on my profile, I can see on yours, and all your people you're connected with. If we were able to get our messages out to everyone else, so we can share the network, if you like, and we reach a wider number of people, a bigger audience with our content, our ideas, and the things that we have to share. And that's where the opportunities come on LinkedIn, is that networking, getting to know people, getting to see who they know, and thereby doors opening and opportunities like you and I talking today arising. I think that's just what LinkedIn is all about, that makes it different, I think, from other platforms too. Nice people.
Absolutely. You see, I was drawn in when you mentioned that we hadn't actually quite met, and I was scraping my head thinking, really? Because it doesn't quite look like that. I feel like I've known you forever. And I think that is testament to the fact that when you've got a really well put together profile, somebody can get to know, like, and trust you immediately, and obviously reach out to you without feeling like, oh, I don't know what to ask them. I don't know what sort of a person they're going to be. And I don't know how to connect with this person. And we're only doing ourselves a disservice if we haven't put together a really good, profile that people would like to connect with. Now, maybe if we're on that sort of subject, what would you say is a good profile for you if somebody reached out to you? What are your, criteria of saying, you know what, I think I should connect with this person? Oh, no, this is going to the wastebasket.
All right. The first thing is that they need to have a profile photo. If they don't have a profile photo, it's a decline from me. The second thing is I like to see a good headline that tells me what somebody does. The third thing is their banner or their background image, which sits which sits right at the very top of their profile. And again, gives you an indication of who they are, what they do, and how they might be able to help. Another criteria for me is network size, as is location. So all of these things build up a picture of who someone is and what they do, and whether they might be someone that is really going to be a great asset for my own LinkedIn network. Because one of the things I found is that when you become relatively well known, is the people that you are connected to that immediately confers upon them credibility. So when, for example, I had someone reach out to me to connect last week that had in his headline, he was a former spy, it was an immediate no from me because that just raised so many red flags. So I think it's really important when you receive invitations from people to look at their profile, see who they are and what they do, who they know, who the mutual connections are. And when you can see that, like you and I, for example, have got more than 150 mutual connections. And so that means that you are going to be somebody who's a good fit for my network because we know so many people in common. So those things again were your profile photo, your headline, which can be up to 220 characters, and your banner. Those are the top three things that are the most important when somebody looks at your profile. That's what they'll be looking at to decide whether or not to connect with you.
Fantastic. And also, I quite like you've got these credibility signs on your page. Could you maybe just walk us through what that badge actually means and entails for those sitting at the back of the room?
Sure. This is a relatively new invention by LinkedIn, the top voice badge, and it has to do with collaborative articles, Prosper. Now, LinkedIn launched those last year, and it's a way for them to get their AI to learn from LinkedIn members. So what they do is they use AI to create articles on a variety of different topics, huge number actually, and then they invite members who are skilled in that particular area to contribute or add a comment. And if you've done sufficient contributions or made sufficient contributions to a sufficient number of those collaborative articles, then they will give you that top voice badge. Now you can have a top voice badge in all different kinds of topics. As you can see, my one there is about writing, but you can have them about any particular skill that you might have on your profile. So the point I'm really making about this is that anyone can have one of these top voices. There is another kind of top voice, and that's a blue top voice badge. And that's one that LinkedIn dishes out. It's not one that you have to work towards trying to attain yourself. They are the people who bestow those. Now, those have very, very high credibility indeed. But the one that you can see there is the one that is attached to collaborative articles, which is a really interesting way of being able to have people post content, because they get really good SEO and good visibility by contributing to those kinds of articles.
Absolutely. Now, there's also one other thing a lot of people might find, fascinating to know. What is the difference between followers and connections? And what's the importance of all of that?
All right. Well, a connection is someone that you have a mutually agreed relationship with. One person reaches out to another and invites them to connect, and that person then has to agree for that connection to occur. So it's a two-way relationship, if you like. If someone is a follower, then they have decided that they want to follow what you are doing on LinkedIn and see your content, but they don't really want to connect with you. Now, there any kind of number of reasons for that. And the idea really is to get as many followers as you possibly can. But the problem with that is that they don't always see your content. So connections are really the A1, the holy grail, if you like, of networking on LinkedIn, whereas followers are that kind of next step out, a lesser relationship, if you like, but they are still incredibly important.
Absolutely. Now, you've got a few videos that are listed here, and like you said, some of them are with your plants and in your garden. Could you maybe just walk us through your content creation process, just so that people would understand, what you consider should be posted on your LinkedIn to stay relevant to the followers and also to the connections, because people won't just follow if there's no content for them to consume.
That's very true. My rule of thumb with content is that it needs to allow people to see you in all your different glories. By that I mean, you need to be using all the formats that LinkedIn has available. So that's a text post, that's nothing but text, videos like you can see there, images, polls, potentially, articles, document posts, and anything else that you find. Newsletters is the other one I'm looking for there. All of those different kinds of content can reach a different audience. So, for example, I'm a writer. So obviously I write a lot of my content, but it's taken me a very long time to get into videos. And last year I really made sure that I mastered video so that I could have videos there on LinkedIn. Now, I'm still learning. It's not an easy thing for me, and I've always found it a bit more tricky than I would like. But I think that LinkedIn is moving more towards making video an important thing, because one of the other changes that's happened on LinkedIn over the years is it's become much more visual, Prosper. In the old days, it used to just be text only, really. But now look at it, all these different things that you can do on LinkedIn. So that means that whatever your skill is in, or whatever skill you decide to master, you can use that as a content type on LinkedIn. So that's the first thing, is that you need to think about using the different kinds of formats available, because each of them will get a different kind of response, and often from different kinds of people as well. The second thing I think is that the content has to be good quality. So by that I mean, you don't want to be showing up on LinkedIn constantly talking about yourself. You want to be showing up on LinkedIn sharing, giving, helping others, and lifting other people up in their roles, in their areas of expertise. And so a good quality post is one that someone can go away from having read and go, now that was really useful. I'm either going to save that, I'm going to share that, I'm certainly going to comment on that because it really was useful. And if you're lucky, go away and actually implement it. Because I think it's really important that we be seen, or many of us anyway, be seen as people who know our industry, know what we're talking about. And if we can share that knowledge, I think everybody benefits. So I'm not a kind of person who will say, oh, well, I found this out today, but I'm not going to share it with anybody. I'm the kind of person who goes, oh, I found this out today, I'm going to share it with everybody who'll listen. And I think that that's the mindset you see on LinkedIn a lot, is that giving and sharing. So I always come from that angle with my own posts. And I think that if you can do that, then that makes a great deal of sense. So a quality post and also using the different formats are the two things that I think are the most important when it comes to content.
Absolutely. And if people show up to your LinkedIn profile, or to maybe your online sort of presence, what is it that they can actually learn from you, or what sort of services or products can they be able to walk away with?
Sure. Well, of course, I have my two books, as you can see. And one of them is about LinkedIn generally, and it's called Linkability, 4 Powerful Strategies to Leverage LinkedIn. And the other one is Business Gold, which I co-authored with Michelle J. Raymond. And that is about LinkedIn company pages, because I think that's a really important aspect of what we do on LinkedIn too. But my main area where I'm helping people in the way I've just described is through my linkability.biz membership site. So that's where people can go to learn everything they need to about being successful on LinkedIn. So that's all about creating a compelling profile. It's about learning how to post excellent quality content. It's about learning how to network with people and grow a really good sized network that will then deliver the opportunities that you want for yourself and for your business. So I offer that as a free area where people can go for 7 days, and then it is a paid service from there. But seriously, there's dozens of hours of material on there, and it's cheap as chips. And I really enjoy helping people through that and my private members group on LinkedIn.
Fantastic. I think, it will be remiss for people not to jump onto these exclusive offers. What's the web address? If you can maybe just say it out loud, but we will put it in the show notes
Sure.
so that people can go and join this community immediately.
All right, it's linkability.biz. So link, Link, ability.biz. And the reason that I talk about linkability or being linkable, Prosper, is because I think that's what LinkedIn delivers. It delivers our ability to be linkable with each other and to help each other and to give and to share and to meet people from all over the world, and to learn from them and then to have them learn from us. So I think that that's really important on LinkedIn, is that whole giving and sharing mindset. I keep coming back to that, but that's where I think the real success factor is on LinkedIn.
Oh, absolutely. If you want to go far, you go alone. But if you want to go further, you go together. So many people think they can go at it by themselves, but half of the time, in any situation, in any country or any society, there's people that already know the path. So you could spend 20 years trying to figure out the platform, or you could shortcut this by actually joining people that have already mastered the platform and are creating headway, learning as they go. Like you said, there was 200 changes last year alone. And I was just looking around, and I just discovered that as we are recording the episode right now, LinkedIn is only 21 years old. So you can expect these changes to happen. What are 21-year-olds doing in America? They're only just getting started on drinking. You know what I mean? They've only just figured themselves out. At 21, I don't think I even knew how to write my own name, so to speak. So you can only imagine it's a platform that is coming of age, but also really bringing with it, the professionalism and the connection that Lynnaire is talking about. Now, you've undoubtedly sort of left a very big mark in this LinkedIn landscape, and you're helping other people along with their own journeys and things of that nature. How do you sort of see the platform evolving into the future?
I see it evolving into an area that is going to make it more difficult for people like you and I to show up authentically. I think AI, which really was only launched on LinkedIn last year, is going to become more and more important, and people are going to use it much more widely. Now, whether they will do that in a really positive way remains to be seen. But where I see the opportunities with that is in the ability of people to stand out from AI generated content or videos by being themselves, by showing up as who they are, having the courage to show up in a video in their gardening clothes, and making sure that people understand that what they're seeing is real. It's the authentic person and it's not AI generated. I think that's really going to be the main thing where LinkedIn is headed. And I think what will help people to be able to stand out in that kind of a field is events, LinkedIn audio events and LinkedIn lives, where people do show up as themselves. And that's not the kind of thing that you can use AI for. So I think people will gravitate more and more towards events as we see more of AI on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. And it's not just on LinkedIn per se, even in real life, a lot of things have been solved for. So the abundance that's going to be coming in, people are going to go in for convenience, but our customers are looking for genuine leaders, genuine service providers so that they can help them, make sense of the world around them. So it actually, I think what you said presents a really good case because right now, even if somebody has been watching this video for the last 20 minutes, they can tell that I'm not AI. They are already, maybe the only thing they could be doing is looking up, at I think Louis Vuitton or Hermes, looking up that blue jacket to see if they can match your style and awesomeness. So in essence, I think we showed up in a way that not a lot of people, if they rely so much on the technology, will be able to do. But do you think the advent of tools like AI will literally eliminate other people from their work, or like we have said, it's not just time to just really double down and be the authentic self that you can possibly be?
I think history has shown that where one door closes, another opens for humans. And while jobs may disappear in some fields, absolutely, on the back of AI, new doors will open. There'll be new opportunities, and people will find a way to create new work, find new ways to help people, and to deliver their skills. They'll learn new skills that will be useful in a changing world because nothing ever stays the same. And we certainly live in a time of massive, massive change. And so I think the world in 5 years' time is going to look considerably different. I think LinkedIn is going to look considerably different. And you and I might be doing completely different jobs altogether. Only time will tell. But I do think it's important to see the positives, to see the opportunities. I'm a glass half full person. And so if there is something that might be looking like it's a challenge or a problem, I'm always looking for a solution, a way around it, a way to fix it, and a way to move forward. And I think that if you have that kind of a mindset, no matter what your age, then that's going to stand you in very good stead because the world ain't going to stand still.
Absolutely. I was just thinking, it took about 16 years from the time LinkedIn was created till the time you were recognized as an expert in the actual platform. And looking at the time that you were recognized to the time it is now, so much has actually changed. And if people are not jumping on board into your linkability members community and places like that, they definitely are going to be left in the dust. Now, one thing that I'm just curious about this is, knowing what you know now about LinkedIn, and how you jumped onto this, trend, and you literally, won the race. What sort of advice would you give to your younger self, about, when opportunities like this come around, because you wouldn't have known that LinkedIn would actually have done so much of a difference in your life.
Take notes, write everything down, keep journals, never throw anything away that you have learned. Because one of the things I found is that my journey's been very circuitous. I started out my professional life working in radio as a journalist, and everything I've done in my professional career has led me to this point. But I don't think this is the end of the road, Prosper. I don't know where we're going to go from here. We might move on to something else completely different as a result of technology. But I think that keeping the door open, being aware of where you're going and what you have done is really important. And also to listen. If I had my time over again, I'd be saying to my younger self, listen and write things down, because there's no need for you to make the same mistakes as other people, and you can really do a lot more for your own professional career if you learn the same lessons that other people have, but not necessarily by going through the same hardships. I think that that's something that people tend to forget, that they can be learning from other people, and that's part of what I think I do on LinkedIn.
Oh, absolutely. Because I believe we're here to live, to learn, and to contribute. And sometimes the lessons that we need to learn might be very, very expensive, or,
Yeah.
our lives depend on them. But if we can learn from other people that have gone through, and gotten to the other end of it, we could save ourselves a lot of time, money, and effort, to try and figure out things that, some people have already figured out. Now, obviously, we've been through where you've been, what's happening with LinkedIn right now, what you think the future holds for the platform. But let's hear about the future for you, Lynnaire. What sort of exciting projects or ventures do you have lined up that we can start getting excited about?
Well, the thing I love about my work is that I never know from day to day what opportunities are going to arise. I never know who's going to send me a message to say, hey, will you be on my podcast or on my YouTube channel show? And that's what I love about it, is I think that I'm going to be doing more along those sorts of lines, because I can use my own network to reach a certain audience, but you can only amplify your message by doing something like we're doing today, by me talking to your audience and getting that message further out there that, hey, you shouldn't neglect LinkedIn. It's a really important channel for you to get involved in. I think that I'm going to be doubling down on my linkability site and helping more people there, because I think the whole point of a member site is that the people who are members need to hear from the person who's running it. And so my thing is going to be helping those people who are members personally as much as I can. So I haven't got any projects in the wind at the moment. I just finished my new linkability site, so I'm taking a bit of a breather from that. But I'll be very interested in 12 months' time if you were to come back to me and say, Lynnaire, what actually happened in 2024? And I'll say, Prosper, you won't believe what happened to me, because that's how life is. You just don't know what's around the corner. And I'm a great believer in opportunities and great things happening.
Fantastic. I'll actually take note of that. We could actually have a year in review according to Lynnaire, and that could be a series that people could actually anticipate to watch at the end of the year. We talk about everything that happened and what we actually project for the future. So maybe I'll get my people to speak to your people, and then we can get that in play, because those are the kind of opportunities that might just arise without you realizing that things like that are actually possible. Well, there you have it, folks. A whirlwind journey through the world of LinkedIn. And I think this was a masterclass in and of itself. And hats off to you, Lynnaire, for having taken the time to, to tame this beast so to speak, because so many people just look at it and be like, I'll come back, maybe when it's ready. But before you know it, if you're not in it, you're not going to be winning it. So thank you so much for making a seemingly difficult easy. And it was so nice to have to go through your own profile as well, learning as we were going. So you're living and breathing what it is that you're teaching. It's not necessarily like all the other people out there who walk on a couple of calls over a weekend and come back to us, or go through a course over the weekend and come back to us as experts. You're the top voice in your industry. You've written books about it. You are also teaching other people as we go, and you're not afraid to get your hands dirty and actually learn what's new. So who wouldn't want to learn from somebody who's actually a practitioner than somebody who just talks about the platform? And in case you haven't even noticed, she actually wore the uniform of LinkedIn today to actually show you that she means business. Now, Lynnaire, I could go on and on, but maybe we're going to run out of tape. Thank you.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I will look forward to coming back and talking to you in 12 months' time about what LinkedIn has actually changed or has changed on LinkedIn in the last 12 months. So thanks so much for having me. I've really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. There you have it. Now we've got an episode to look forward to where we're going to be doing recaps of the year. And I think this will be something that is a fantastic thing to add to our repertoire. So thank you so much for having that in place. I'll make sure that it's, we actually implement on that and come for the yearly wrap up videos. Now, there you have it, folks. If you found today's episode as mind-blowing as I have, so be sure to hit the replay button and soak up on the knowledge once again. Plus, don't forget to subscribe for more riveting insights and expert interviews, because you never know what you will come across in these episodes. Even I just walk into them without knowing what we're going to expect, and you just trust the experts themselves to give us their value and share. So thank you so much for your spirit of giving, Lynnaire. I was joking earlier that I hope you're not going to teach us so much that we will be anticipating an invoice in the mailbox. But you have proven to us that you are a giver at heart, and I visually believe that those that give gain a whole lot more in the end. So thank you so much for trusting the process. And until next time, guys, stay prosperous and stay inspired. And please make sure you are linkable and increase your link ability. Bye.